say how I feel, cause I know that it's something real. Gonna say how I feel, cause I know that it's something real. Hey, hey. Gonna say how I feel, cause I know that it's something real.
Well, hi guys. How is everybody? Yep, you saw me jumping around. I'd forgotten to turn off the heater. I hadn't had my water. I dropped a clip. Yep, that's Gretchen, and it's Keeping It Real, number 128. Yes. Whoa. Oh my goodness. How is everyone this fine evening? It's gorgeous sunny outside. I'm going to lift up, see, you can see the light on the back behind me reflecting off of my cabinet. Oh my gosh. Yay. Bob thought we could just, oh, yeah, yep, he put it down all the way. And now I just dropped something. Oh well. It's been a good day. A really good day. Lots of things going on. Lots of things to get done. And to plug this guy in. So, I hope everybody has had a wonderful time. I saw that Brian had done a pour. I haven't had a chance to see. I was gone most of the day, and then I went on India's live, and she got kicked off by YouTube for something that we don't know what. It said that was spam or deceptive practices, and she was like, what? We all texted her, and she came back. I have no idea. Although she did sing a little bit of a song as she was going along. She sang a little bit of a Michael Jackson song, and so that easily could have done it, because they will, boom, spend it, which really freaked her out, because she's had her channel for a long time and had never gotten even a warning, and she was like, so we were giving her a bad time. Anyway, I got caught up in that, and then doing some other things that I am behind on, and I looked up, and boom, it was time to be going live. And yeah, so I have to clean up my studio a bit tonight after this, because my sister Sarah is coming over tomorrow with her friend Punky. Yes, her name is Punky, because her real name, I think Sarah might call her that if she gets irritated with her, but they've been friends since early high school. And so Punky and her husband were coming over from way far eastern Washington, and gonna hang at Sarah's. And I called Sarah today to see how she was doing with, she's 5 months into her Ibrance treatment for the breast cancer, and in a couple weeks we get an MRI, or she gets an MRI to see what the progress is and what's the next step in her typical way of being her positive self. I said, well, how you doing? And she says, well, how any almost 70-year-old woman with stage 3 breast cancer can be doing. I'm doing good. Anyway, so I gotta clean up my studio a bit, because, well, you guys saw the chaos the other day. It hasn't improved a lot. The wires have improved, but the rest, not so much. I've been kind of so that's the way it is. Anyway, oh my goodness, I look up here and Janice is telling me I look beautiful. Seriously? Thank you. That makes me feel good. I went and got new nails today. Yes. All right, checking in with everybody. Okay, there's Gloria. Hi, Gloria. And Deirdre. And Angie. Yay. Good to have you guys all here. Angie's dancing already and singing Ooh La La, so is Gloria. Oh my goodness. You guys get so... yeah, the opening video, I uploaded it before I put the music on. So then just literally just now, I just grabbed a piece of music and threw it on there, and it hadn't quite done what it was supposed to do. But then when it played through again, it did. So, whew. Yes, I'm breathing. I'm breathing. It's just, I live at this scatter state sometimes, and it doesn't really bother me. It just makes me laugh. 128, I know. Good grief. It's dark outside your window. Well, you're 3 hours behind me, girl. So, no, it's not getting dark until pretty late. There's Janice, yes. And there, everybody's coming along. Yeah, today I decided, my hair, since I got it cut and colored, I kind of need to get it wet every day to do its curl thing, and it behaves. If I try to just go each day, it kind of goes to frizz. Deirdre, hi. There, yep. Thank you, yay. Smiling it is. I had some fun with the paint this book. I didn't do much more. I just read a little bit more. I got that cable in that was supposed to do, and it didn't. So I think I'm going to start a collection of all the possible cables that you can have that you don't use because they don't do what you thought they were going to do. Anyway, we're investigating that. I could have just needed to upload a software, which I did too, right before the live. Who does that? Who? That's what happened today. I had an update on my iMac software. Usually those are pretty quick. No, 15, 20 minutes. It's like, really? Don't you know I have things to do? Oh, well. Oh, well. So, but I'm glad. So I don't know what everybody's got planned for the weekend. It's supposed to be fairly nice. I'm hoping to get out and about a little bit and wander around. And even if it's just around the neighborhood, Aldo is not irritated with me too much anymore. He did find his sock that had been lost. I think he hid it, and he dragged it out today and proudly brought it into the living room and dropped it in front of Bob. And I'm like, what, you've been looking for this? All you had to do was ask, but no. I was looking for a week. And then he attacked Bob's face a little bit. This is what he does when he decides he wants to go outside. All of a sudden, you could be sitting very quietly, comfortably, and he'll jump up on the couch and just go, hey, yeah. So he did that to Bob. And then he did that to me this morning because I'm the giver of bacon in the morning. So I get up in the morning, drink a giant glass of water, and go sit in my chair with my blanket over me and take the pieces of bacon that Bob's made and my coffee, or Bob brings me my coffee actually, and I feed all the little bits of bacon. Well, if he thinks I've been sleeping in too long and he's had to wait too long for his bacon, guess who gets pounced on the head? He starts nipping at my hair. and then if I try to go under the covers, he'll just lay on my head and he'll burrow, and he's just a crazy little dog. It's so funny. So funny. Oh. Is that his godson's birthday party? Oh, nice. That's great. Oh, Oh, you're afraid Gloria's gonna run out of juice? Oh. I don't know, has that ever happened to you, Gloria, at a Reiki healing? I've been to like group Reiki healings where we had one person when I was doing my level 1 of Reiki, and we were doing the group trainings, and would have like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 people around somebody doing it. Whoa, that was an experience. That was really an experience. So anyway, yeah, all those goofy guy. So today, on top of everything else, today is Read Tolkien Day. And it's the day that we send everybody out to read something from Jrr Tolkien. Well, I wasn't going to read Tolkien to you guys tonight because it's just long. It is. But I looked up some of his things and I thought, oh my gosh, at Christmas time, because he's got a whole series of letters that he wrote to his own children as Father Christmas, and wrote every year to them. And those letters were kept, and then they've been put into a book. And he wrote as Father Christmas, and to, I think Michael was his oldest, and then the other 2. They're just fascinating, but gotta save those for Christmas time. But I named today Wonderful. The full of wonder, wonderful. Because if you ever know anything about Tolkien, and how the inspiration that he is to so many people, and so what he'd done and who he was, I'm gonna some crazy little things about him. Let me see if I can find this. There it is. It's really interesting because he didn't have an exactly easy childhood. It's said that he was born in South Africa, January 3rd of 1892, but then he was kidnapped or taken without permission, and to another family. And I didn't read a whole lot about that, but it's really interesting that he went through that and went through that whole thing. Tolkien, no, that's not. That's the list of his books in Wikipedia. He's an English writer, poet, philologist, and an academic, best known as the author of his high fantasy works, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. But what was interesting, he taught was a fellow at Pembroke College and at Oxford. But his whole bit around Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and that's probably why that book is not as popular, because it's so hard to say. The Silmarillion and Beren and Luthien, the Fellowship of the Ring, Unfinished Tales. He has a whole bunch of them. Return of the King, all that. Well, those weren't into the movies, but that whole thing that he did was so much. I mean, all in what his imagination did. He didn't just create a story of elves and hobbits going on an adventure. He created an entire language around them, completely. The elven language, he had the other guys, he had complete languages written out of them. He created an entire world, Middle Earth, and not just in maps, but he also did it in a to scale like model at his home. It's kind of like some people do model trains. He did that with Middle Earth. So just the depth of his imagination and his thought is one of those things that is so completely out there for of what imagination and that wonder, so full of wonder. Let's see what else. He also wrote a book about the end of Arthur, I think it was. That's one of the few I haven't read of that one, but the Book of Lost Tales, Pictures by Jrr Tolkien. Oh my goodness. So there's just a lot of things out there that you can explore, and it's always fun to see someone who was so successful and so in depth in this, and his books have been so successful. But the thing is that he didn't really like to be out in amongst. He much preferred the quiet back in his imaginary, the world that he put together. And he didn't write the books particularly for adults. The Hobbit was first written, as I understand it, as a book for his son or nephew, I can't remember exactly, who was like 8 years old. And that's who he gave it to read. And kid loved it. And so, but he wasn't going to write any more past that. He was just going to do The Hobbit and at first. And then his friend, who was a colleague at Oxford, and much his junior in years, C.S. Lewis of Narnia fame, said, "Are you nuts? You got to write the rest of this. You got to tell the rest of these stories." And it was that encouragement and continued on. At least that's the stories that I have heard in the literary world around his great works and what he kept doing. But there's, Lord of the Rings, that whole series is his most popular. My favorite, though, is The Hobbit, and always probably will, because I think my second grade teacher read it aloud to us, and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, having The Hobbit read aloud to you in second grade, oh my gosh. And I can still remember her talking about when Gollum said, "What have you got in your pockets, my precious?" Just so love it. Anyway, so tonight, the books are all about wonder, and I went with that friend. Yeah, huge fan. So, not Tolkien's books, because there was several on Libby and then stuff, but I saw the Father Christmas books, and I thought, oh, I'm going to put those in my thing for Christmas time, to read stories at Christmas. That would be awesome, to read some of those letters. Thank you. Gollum has been in my head since second grade. I mean, seriously, I can still, if I close my eyes, I know where I was sitting. My last name was Walker, and behind me was Richard Widener, and behind him was Ray Zutenhorst. The W's and the Z's. And the door to the class, the back door to the outside to the playground of our classroom was on, just behind us on the side. And Mrs. Federley was up in front sitting, and she was reading The Hobbit to us. And we were all just totally enraptured by that whole thing. And she would just, Gollum was just, "My precious, what has he got in his pockets?" I just love it. It just always made me I love it. So it's fun to see that. So when I went to choose books today, I chose books about wonder and about that imagination and about art and what we did. So I have a couple cute short twofers. We're going to do a twofer today. And the first book I'm going to read is called The Color Collector. And it's by Nicholas Solis and Renia Metalinau. And if I can get there. Get this up a little bit bigger so I can show it to you. Come on. Come on. There it is. Do screen shares. There it is, screen share. Okay. Still kind of sees parts of my, sees a little bit of my screen, but that's okay. So he said he's been writing all his life, starting with knockoff Encyclopedia Brown mysteries and oddly deep poetry for an 8-year-old. But since then, he continues to write picture books, travel blogs, teaching blog middle, and poetry about farts, decidedly less deep. In 2018, he was the recipient of the Walter Dean Myers grant from We Need Diverse Books. And in 2020, he was nominated for the 2020 Austin CBWI Writing Mentor Award and the winner of the Austin Creators of Diverse Worlds Scholarship. His author illustrated both the Staring Contest in 2020, My Town, Mi Pueblo, and Color Collector are scheduled for 2021. So he hasn't done very many of these. Elementary teacher, Master of Arts degree in Curriculum and Instruction from the University of Texas, and a Master of Arts degree in Educational Administration from Concordia. Huh. And he's gone to Tanzania, India, and Morocco with kids. Wow, that's amazing. He's an active member of the Society for Children's Book Writers and Illustrators and a writing fellow at the Writing Barn. Oh, that's a cool thing. He also came in second in the Hollywood Game Night. He says, seeing in how there are only 2 contestants, you could say that he came in last. So there he is. He's back there with Eva Longoria and all those guys. That's pretty funny. Anyway, that's about him. His books showed some, the Staring Contest, but he has an author blog and some things about him right there. Now the illustrator, Renia Metalinau, is from Greece, and she studied graphic design at the Athenian Design College, studied fashion design after winning a scholarship, and she's worked as a full-time illustrator for the past 8 years, I think, yeah, and lives outside of Athens in a small house by the sea with her husband, 2 children, and lots of pets. So her work is pretty interesting. She's got a really interesting way of doing her work. She works mainly in watercolor, she said, but sometimes does gouache and acrylics also. So this is some of her work. I love that moon, or she has famous creatures. What's this? Famous creatures. Oh, look at that. I love these. Mind and soul. So, look at, oh my goodness. Darkness. Messy thoughts. Oh, that's a cool picture. I love this, how this particular section of her artwork, how she's taken mind and thought and taken certain words or expressions or feelings and what she's done for them. So you'll see some of this in this book, The Color Collector. You'll see how she creates that as the illustrator. Look at the sheep. She stands out among the, oh, she can't, oh. So, anyway, that's exciting. Let's go back to here, and I can maybe delete, minimize. There we go. So the first book I'm going to read is The Color Collector. And here it is. There we go. Get to it for you guys. There. Yay! I think you're going to like this one. I thought it was, I have another one that I really liked. And then I saw this and I thought, oh, this is just really kind of special. Oops, let's get the size right. There we go. The Color Collector. My pages are just, there we go. Oops. She was new. She was quiet. I think she was lonely. That was the day I met Violet. I was new once. I said hello. She smiled a little, I think, but she was quiet. She lived near me. We walked home the same way. I was on one side and she was on the other. Always quiet, always alone. Every day the same. Until one day, the day she picked something up. The wind blew strong. A red candy wrapper did somersaults. It landed at her feet. It hugged her shoe. Violet picked it up, a bright red wrapper. Then it was gone, disappearing into her backpack? Huh. She looked up. She looked at me. She waved. Then her eyes went down and she returned to the corner. She was always picking things up. I had never noticed it before. Now it's all I see her do. Bright blue cookie wrappers, yellow pieces of paper, green bottle caps, red fall leaves, all disappearing into the gray backpack. One day on our silent walk home, I am not so silent. What do you do with it all? All of what? The wrappers and trash and leaves. Do you really want to know? Yes, please. Well, then follow me. Just a little farther, up one flight of stairs, then another and another. The heavy door creaks open. This is my room. Here in her room, the sun comes to shine. It reaches in and makes her glow. It makes her collection glow as well. Each brightly colored wrapper, piece of trash, and speckled leaf has a place on her walls, her ceiling, her door. There are no longer forgotten bits blowing in the wind. Along her wall, they are one. They are her sky, her beach, her village. They are beautiful. We came here for a better life. I miss home, though. I miss the sounds and smells, and I miss the colors. I am sad that she is sad. It is beautiful, I say. She tells me stories about her sun, her ocean, her people. We sit and talk, then laugh, then talk some more. She's not so sad. She is not so long alone. It feels good to be her friend. I say goodbye. She says goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow. It's true. She smiles, and I smile. We smile the same. On my way home, the wind blows strong and cold. A bright red leaf falls at my feet. I pick it up and put it in my backpack. And that's The Color Collector. Isn't that a cool book? Isn't that just a cool book? Okay, the other one is right here. I gotta get that one. Yes. Thank you, Gloria. Oh, I know, I would love to go to Greece. My mom and dad, that's some of the photos that there are slides of my parents that have, or some of the ones I really want to get done. They took a pretty magical trip to Greece at one time, and they were on a 80-foot motor sailor, a boat. So there were two 80-foot motor sailors, and there were 5 couples per boat. So there was all of 10 people. But my mom learned Greek before she went. Yeah, Mom had a tendency to learn languages when she would go someplace. So she learned Greek before she went. And so this motor sailor was much smaller than the big cruise ships and stuff. And so it could go into little villages, places, and ports that the big places couldn't go, big ships couldn't go. And because she learned Greek, the chef for the 2 boats would take her with him into the village market to get food. And so she could interact and talk. And she got to just see she took some amazing pictures, and Dad did too. And it was very cool. Hey, hi Larry. Very cool, yay. Nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us. So it's always been one of my favorite things. And then I can still remember the picture of Dad swimming in the Mediterranean and floating, because it's, so much salt water. It's so, but he was just floating and swimming, backstroking and swimming in the picture that they took of him. Yeah, pretty funny. It's one of the things. So the next book on our Wonderful is called Everywhere Wonder. Now this, we're going to have to wait to find out about the author and illustrator till we get to the end pages to read about it, because every time I went to their website had been hacked, and it was taking me to someplace else that was this and wanted me to download that or this, and was checking to see if I was a robot or not, and it was obviously it had not been, and it was redirecting to an odd spot. So it wasn't one I was going to hop onto. But they are Everywhere Wonder is by Matthew Swanson and Robbie Bear, and they are a husband and wife couple. So it's a collaboration they've done together. And this, again, is a lot of watercolor that she likes to use in this. Okay, guess what got me? Look at all the books. What's it say here about this book? The art for this book is a digital collage of sampled watercolor washes done in Adobe Photoshop using the Cintiq 13 HD tablets. Text was this, edited. So she did sample watercolor washes done in Adobe, a digital collage of sampled watercolor washes. So she'd had watercolor washes and then did a digital collage of them. Very cool. But I love this bookshelf here. Everywhere Wonder. I have a story to share. It is a little gift from me to you. You might not know it, but you have a story too. You'll find it in the things you stop to notice. The world is full of people and places and things, all of them interesting, all of them beautiful. You never know what you might see or where your mind might take you. So keep your eyes open as you go. In Egypt, there are pyramids. In Arizona, there are canyons. In the jungles of Brazil are leaves so plentiful and green that light can barely reach the ground below. In the high hills of Japan are gardens full of wind-worn rocks and clean white sand, but not a single flower. In Kenya, there are hot, dry savannas filled with zebras and blue wildebeest. And in Alaska, there are cold, wet waters filled with seals and sockeye salmon. In the middle of the Coral Sea, there is a roaring storm that no one will ever hear. And on the near side of the moon, there's a quiet footprint that no rains will ever wash away. In Sheboygan, there's a tractor mechanic named Shirley who has 37 friends. On the North Pole, there's a cold and lonesome bear wishing for some company. You want to go see him, of course, to let him know that he's not alone. But your bike won't get you there and back by bedtime. Still, you noticed him, didn't you? He walked off this page and into your head. Now, he is part of your story. There are other wonders yet to find, not so far from where you are right now. They too are interesting. They too are beautiful. Stop to really look, and you will see them. In the highest part of the tree is an unexpected gift. A blue balloon that might have slipped from someone's fingers. In the deepest part of the pool is sunken treasure, a shiny dime that must have tumbled from someone's pocket. Will you save it? Or spend it? Or leave it there for someone else to find? In the grocery store are aisles and shelves and stacks of cans. You have to look so carefully to find the one you want. In your bowl of steaming soup is just one noodle that doesn't match the others. Where do you think it came from? On the playground is a sturdy line of bright black ants carrying their supper home. Under the bridge is a gently rolling river floating a blue glass bottle out to sea. Perhaps it holds a message. What does it say? Who could it be for? In the busy town are sidewalks full of swiftly moving people who somehow never seem to collide. And in the quiet countryside are miles of open, empty roads that somehow seem never to end. Where do they go? Someday you may find out. In the hallway is a spotted dog that turns golden as the sun sets through the windows. In the bedroom is a doorknob that makes rainbows when the reading lamp clicks on. Now the lamp is off and the moon is up. You close your eyes and see them again, the things you noticed today. All of these together are your story. Dream with them a while. When you wake up in the morning, open your eyes and open your window and let your story out into the world. It is a little gift from you to me. Now my story is complete, but yours is just beginning. You never know what you might see or where your mind might take you. So keep your eyes wide open as you go. And that's the story of Everywhere Wonder. It doesn't have any information about the author. Back here, I thought it would have it on the back of the book, but it doesn't. Let's see. Nope. Oh well. Anyway, another cute book. I thought it was fun. I thought just because, we see so much, and you guys, we all do different kind of arts, and we see things and how we interpret them. But it's that, first thing, and you let it dream, and you let them calculate and percolate. And in the morning, first thing, putting it out there, and whether you write down things or you jot them in your journal or what, it's a way to have that work. Now, you know what? I wonder if this is going to work because I didn't turn on that camera beforehand. Oh, it did. Oh, good, I can move this guy out of the way. And I'll just move it back. I just knocked something off. Okay. Paint this book. Turn it this way. Just do this a little bit. There you go. So far in Paint This Book, we've got a little ways. I did my scribble page and more no thinking brush play. Quick no thinking strokes. It says, I thought this was really interesting, what he said right here. Quick no thinking strokes equal clear colors. And too careful slow strokes equal muddy colors. And I need to get this on there. I could probably turn it this way. Why don't I do this? Okay. So on this one, and the blue on this two-stroke streak was dry before the pink was added. So it has different things that we did. And there's my apple tree I did yesterday. So I thought I would go to the next part on what it says on this, the miracle of discovered art. Take a break from painting for a second and look carefully at your artwork. And we talked about that. What could the wiggle become something else? Could you add eyes? His ironclad rule was, you're better than you think you are. Your instincts and your thoughtless first strokes are spontaneous and spirited. Trust them. If you go back over your art too much, you'll pick it to death. Know when you've got a good thing and know when to leave it alone. I was thinking about this today as I was driving along, of all the topics to be thinking about, and it made me think that how I got to the point on some of this where I was spending too much time wondering what would happen if, and what kind of shape could it be, and I was trying to jump ahead in so many things. I grabbed a different brush too. And I found that really kind of was stopping me from being, and I realized what it meant was that I couldn't just start on this and expect it to come along instantly, that I had to spend some time just doing these kind of things, almost mind-numbingly so, in order for anything to be able to come of it, to be able to, when artists will say that they want to work, they need to loosen up, I could never really quite understand what they meant when they said that about loosening up, needed to be looser. And now I think I get it. It's not so much the loosening of the stroke, it's the loosening of your thoughts, to not be thinking about it so much, and planning ahead and trying to get it to be something, and instead of just letting it just be, which I thought was kind of interesting. So I did a few more things of just being. Yep. And then he says, what if I make a mistake? You can't. No, let us take that back. You can make a mistake if you get critical of yourself and decide that something you've done is a mistake. That's a mistake. It's possible, kind of, to erase watercolors with a clean, wet brush or damp paper or towel, but you'll never be able to get back to entirely white paper. And besides, in order to erase, you've got to make a mistake, and it's impossible. See above. He shows us how he's tried to before, after. Erasing doesn't work so well. Splatter and cut page. So this is a splatter and cut page. Oh, I don't think I'm going to splatter and cut on here right now because I didn't bring a towel. Splatter this right page by snapping your brush or pull up a little wet patch of color and chase it around by blowing through a straw. Well, you guys, we do that. You guys do that with it. So blow through it with a straw. I have a straw with me. So and then use a lot of white, which means, because I don't have white paint, it means to leave the white space. Don't overwork. When you've finished with both sides, get out a pair of scissors and cut this entire page up into smallest shapes. Fish, flower, frying pan. Learn how sizing and shaping with scissors can completely transform your work. Paste the shapes down on page 17 and 18 and then add a little line work around them, if needed, to complete the picture. So like a lightning bolt, put down oh, he has directions here. It says put down newspapers first. So I have more to do on this. So this book is really is kind of fun. I didn't spend enough time, well, I didn't spend hardly any time with it today, because I was out and about. But it's one of those things I think I'm going to really like to spend some time with. And the ideas are wonderful. This idea about even just, let me switch over here. So even just that little bit I did last night with this and thinking about it today, and was understanding a little bit more about that concept of making your artwork looser. And it was, like I said, it wasn't so much about my paintbrush or my stroke being loose. It was about my mind being loose and not trying to conform whatever I was doing into something planned, to just kind of letting it go. I think that's one of the things that I kind of need to do for this type of art that I need to do. It's like in my photography too. I'll oftentimes take something and I will slap dab it all different kinds of way with all different kind of editing. If I go too precisely with imagining exactly what I think I'm going to go, sometimes I miss out on some things. But if I'll go in first and I'll move the sliders right and left, the contrast, the brights, the whole thing, all to different obscure things, and then I can come back and it flows better with what I want to do. So I don't know, what do you guys think? What do you think? I have to go. Whoa. Okay. Crunch berries. She's mixing paint, I think. Yay. Okay, that's the other Angie. I was wanting to get down there on the map. Dream of rice. Nice. Oh, the fat cat on the map may seem to dream of nice mice that suffice. Jrr Tolkien. Yes. Yes, we were talking earlier about that being Tolkien Day, and just it, like it's I saw this documentary on him I saw years ago on PBS, and it's been really hard. I haven't found it again, but it was really fascinating about how he went into creating Middle Earth and how it became so much of a world in and of itself. To not only just be the physical size and the model that he built of the lands, but on top of that, he built models and sizes of the different creatures, but to have created a language, and not just one language. He created a language for the orcs. He created a language for the elves. He created a language for the hobbits. I mean, he created amazing different languages and history for them, because it's the whole series of books. Yes, there's the Lord of the Rings series in and of itself, those books, and then the Hobbit is the one before him, but then the Silmarillion and all the other ones, the Untold Tales or the Lost Tales, all of them still work all around Middle Earth and a true world that he created, and how he must have been able to let his mind go to such a loose state, to have no preconceived notions, to even be able to develop an entire language. And oh my gosh. And there are people there who have studied it and studied the language, and they study the reading of that language as a written language and how it sounds, those sounds. It's pretty fascinating. I think it's fascinating. So anyway, hey Tamara, hi, how are you? Yeah. You can't grip it like a pencil, that gives us too much control. Exactly. I love the word splatter. Splatter is a good word. There's some other, splatter is just, it's a great word. It's so fun. That was almost like, oh yay, you finished your snowman. Okay, so Sunday is when I'm going to do the artwork that everybody sends in. So let me put in my images by Gretchen at iCloud.com. And if you could, in the subject line, type in live art in the subject line, then it will help me find it in amongst my thousands of crazy emails sometimes. Live art. So, that looks like it's all one. So imagesbygretchen.com, but in the subject line, type in live art. That wasn't supposed to go that close together, but yeah, I would appreciate it. But I can still find it other words, but it just makes it easier to sort it if I know what to sort for. And letting the mind explore without limitations, that's great. I just sent some, we're going to show them, Tamara, on Sunday show. I'm going to put them all together and have a shorter thing, and we'll see how far I've gotten in my splatter pages and my book here on this. Really kind of paint this book. I may have to get another one. I think it's pretty cool. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Anyway, I'm excited to see everybody's stuff. Yeah, you sent me poems. I haven't, that's okay. I saw yours, Angie. And that's what made me remind me, because then I saw yours and then I looked at how many emails I had, which was ridiculous amount. And I just want to make sure you guys have your own folder now. in my email. But, so yes. Anyway, so that'll be great. We'll do that. So this is Friday frolic, splatters, and freeing, and it's a wonderful Friday of things to see, and you guys are so precious. In your pockets, what have you got in your pockets, my precious? So I think I'm gonna send you off to go wonder and be full of wonder and enjoy your evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you for letting me come into your home and share these 2 books. Even though they're not, it's Read Tolkien Day and they were not Tolkien, they were still, in my mind, showed a lot of what he used in his imagination and his creativity and how it makes the story, and so how it created all those parts of the stories. So in my kind of Ricochet Rabbit mind, they went together, and I hope you enjoyed it. So everybody, take care. Keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you, and put it in your story. And I will see you tomorrow.
In the heat of the night,